The Adeptus Mechanicus are probably my favorite faction of the Warhammer 40k universe, and the tech-priests are my favorite unit of that faction. They kind of embody all that the Adeptus Mechanicus is, with lots of cables, wires, and religious iconography to it too. Really interesting, really fun to paint. In this video, I'm going to be showing off some of my favorite models that I've painted, as well as a little bit of backstory as to what the Mechanicus is, what a tech priest is, and what they do in the Imperium or the Warhammer universe. I hope you enjoy it. The tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus are, well, they're hard to explain. Imagine if your mechanic, your priest, and your computer science teacher all merged into one person, and then voluntarily replaced their body parts with discount electronics. And that's not even the craziest part. The tech priests are part of the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Imperium's ancient sacred order of scientists and engineers. Their job is to maintain the galaxy's technology. And maintenance, in Mechanicus terms, isn't just tightening bolts, it's lighting incense, chanting the rites of activation, and very respectfully asking the engine not to explode today. They belong to a belief system called the Cult Mechanicus. At the center of it all is the machine god and his earthly avatar, the Omnissiah, who conveniently they believe is the emperor of mankind. Or at least they say that to the public. It's kind of like a theological loophole that lets them have their own religion while technically still agreeing with the Imperial Creed, because the Imperium is very strict in their monotheism. Usually. Unless you're very useful like the Mechanicus. Their central idea is that all knowledge is sacred, and the flesh, all that squishy stuff, that's the mistake. Their motto is literally, the flesh is weak, and they mean it. That's why most tech priests don't stay organic for long. They start by replacing an arm, then an eye, then their vocal cords, and eventually they're 6 feet tall red robe nightmares with servo arms, cable dreadlocks, and a built-in modem that gives them Wi-Fi. Which is actually kind of cool. Now, the ranks and roles in the Mechanicus. There's a whole hierarchy within the cult, starting with the Fabricator General of Mars. He's the head of the entire Mechanicus and the governor of Mars itself. He also holds a seat on the Imperium's ruling council, sometimes literally fused to that very seat. Beneath them are the Magi. Each Magos specializes in a discipline. There's Magos Biologus, who studies genetics, Genitors, who go even deeper into DNA, sometimes even Xenos DNA, which is frowned upon unless you're really good at it and don't get caught. The Magos Dominus commands armies of battle robots. And then there's the Magos Explorators. These are the bold ones, the ones who venture into long-forgotten ruins, ancient vaults, abandoned planets, all to find lost schematics and mysterious data. Kind of like Indiana Jones, but with more wires and less snakes. There's a whole bunch of other ones as well, probably more than I can list here in this short video, but here are some of my favorites. The Engine Seers, probably the most common ones. They're the battlefield engineers. They'll repair tanks mid-battle, but if you adjusted the air conditioning without reciting the correct prayers, that's sacrilege. And no, they will not fix the gun jam until you repent. Then there's the Electro-priests, literal walking power surges. They build up static electricity through warship, and then discharge it on enemies in battle. Like if Tesla coils went to seminary. The Texorcists. Yes, that is what it sounds like. They exorcise corrupted machines. Now, imagine a world where not only can you encounter a haunted toaster, but you can also say, yeah, I got a guy for that. The Lex Mechanics. Living calculators who record and organize vast imperial data. Kind of like a spreadsheet monk. Rune Priests. Their job is to wake up machines gently. Rune Priests specialize in awakening dormant machines, sometimes with rituals, sometimes with very persuasive chanting. If your war engine isn't booting, they're the ones who talk it into cooperating. Now, their whole philosophy is knowledge, not innovation. That's the twist of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They don't really create anything new, at least not anymore. The age of innovation is over. Now their role is preservation. They follow ancient blueprints, they reassemble sacred schematics, they treat every maintenance log like it's gospel, and in their eyes, deviating from the instructions is not a clever shortcut, it's heresy. They could have the tools to reshape reality, but only if someone wrote down the instructions like 10,000 years ago and laminated it in blessed cogwax. And there's something beautifully tragic about it all. That's actually why I like the Mechanicus so much, is they have that whole future retro aesthetic meets religious dogma and tradition. It's really cool. Now, we can't talk about the Mechanicus or tech priests without talking about the machine spirit. It's another important part of their worldview. Every device, no matter how simple or advanced, is believed to house a sort of soul, a presence. And you don't just press buttons and hope it works. You perform rites. You ask politely. It sounds strange until you yourself have begged your printer to work during a deadline and started making bargains with it. The Mechanicus just committed to the bit. Now, why Mars? Why is Mars their home base? Well, because back in humanity's golden age, Mars was a cradle of scientific achievement. It was terraformed, built up, industrialized, and then the age of strife happened, and it all collapsed into isolated, superstitious cults worshipping their machines. And they never stopped. When the Emperor began the Great Crusade, he made a deal with Mars. You give us ships, tanks, and tech, and we let you keep your weird little cult, so long as you agree that the Emperor is divine. Mars stayed red, and the Mechanicus became one of the Imperium's most essential, most unusual allies. The Adeptus Mechanicus might be strange, but they're one of the most iconic factions in the 40k universe. They're believers in their own way, deeply faithful, painfully methodical, and obsessed with preserving the echoes of a time when humanity could create wonders. They don't want to rule a galaxy, they just want to understand it, like literally everything. They want to know absolutely every detail about absolutely every little thing. Sweet. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can expect more in the near future. More models, more videos. And as always, God bless ya.